Hi class, and welcome to demonstration video number 2 for Learning Plan 1, Chapter 6. The other demonstration video I made was for the future values, and this video then will be for present values. So basically we're kind of doing the opposite in a way. You can kind of, I guess, put it that way. Present value as opposed to future value, we are looking at what we will be paying in the future, or what our amount will result in the future, but what is the present value of that future amount. So that's kind of like the concept of what we're doing today. So to demonstrate some of the concepts and for you to understand it better, I'm going to demonstrate brief exercise 6-8, exercise 6-3, and 6-5. And these exercises will be on pages 348 and 349 of the text. Okay. All right, so the first one, then I'm going to do brief exercise 6-8, and once again, you will need your book for this. It's on page 348. Let's just write that down here. Okay. And I'll read you the problem, and then we'll get into it. Brief exercise 6-8. Canlis Mining Company borrowed money from a local bank. The note the company signed requires 5 annual installment payments of $10,000 beginning 1 year from today. The interest rate on the note is 7%. What amount did Canlis borrow? Okay, so we know that they borrowed an X amount. They are required to make 5 annual installments of $10,000, which is then the future value of that. We know because it's going to be 5 annual installments of $10,000. That's $50,000. If they're going to be paying $50,000 total in the future at the end of this note, how much did they borrow today based on that 7%? All right, so PVA, present value of an annuity, and we will be using table 4, which is on page P-5, or I did also post the 6 tables in a PDF format, so if you want to print that out, that will also help you quite a bit instead of going to the back of the book. But table 4 is used to calculate the present value of any series of equal payments made at the end of each compounding period. So in the problem, it states that they are making that $10,000 at the end of that year. So we are going to be using table 4. Okay. So right here, I'm going to put my 10,000 just to lay it out so everybody can see. My present value of an annuity is 10,000. My number of periods is going to be 5 because it's for 5 years. My interest is 7%. Okay. My factor, if you look on the table, for 5 periods at 7%, and I just want to go and double check and make sure, 5 periods at 7% is 4.10020. So my factor is 4.10020. So this is how my formula is going to look like. I'm going to take $10,000 times 4.10020. So let's do the calculation, see what we have. Okay, so as of right now, today, Canlis borrowed $41,200, and in the future they would have made a $50,000 total in payment, which is the 5 payments times the 10,000. Okay, so that's that one. Okay, all right, moving on. Our next one is going to be exercise 6-3. That's on page 349. And in exercise 6-3, they are asking us to determine the present value of the following single amounts. Okay, so let's write up the, I'm going to go ahead and put in the amounts in. They gave us future amounts, interest rate, and the number of periods. And they gave us 4 different scenarios: 20,000, 14,000, 25,000, and 40,000. Interest rate for each one: 7%, 8, 12, and 10. The number of periods for the first one is 10, second is 12, third is 20, and the fourth scenario is 8 periods. Okay, so for my first scenario, we know what we are going to be paying total in the future, which is 20,000. So I'm looking for, so right here, it's just saying, what is the present value of $20,000 right now? Because we know that in the future, it's going to grow to 20,000 at 7% for 10 periods. Okay, so that's why I say I do PV equals 20,000. Well, I know my number of periods, which is 10 periods. My interest is going to be 7%. And my factor, and because we're looking for present values of a single amount, we're going to be using table 2. If you look at table 2 on page P-2, the description says the table is used to calculate the present value of any single amount. So only one amount. Unlike this one where we had similar amounts or the same amount paid at the end of the period. If you paid similar amounts, more than one amount at the beginning of a period, there's a different table as well. So that's, you want to pay attention to the description on each table at the end of the book so you know which table to use. And that is very crucial. Okay, so back to our exercise 6-3. My factor, then if you look at the table, table 2, for 10 periods at 10%, my factor is going to be 0.50835. Okay. So my formula is going to look like 20,000 times 0.50835. So I'm going to take 20,000 times 0.50835, and my present value of that 20,000 today is 10,167. 10 periods from now, at 7%, it's going to grow to $20,000. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. Okay, same thing with number 2. We're going to use the same table because we're doing the same thing for each one. My number of periods is 12 periods. Interest is at 8%. And my factor, so if you look on the table, once again, table 2, my factor is going to be, well, we're looking at 12 periods at 8%. It looks like the factor is 0.39711. So my formula is going to look like this. 14,000 times 0.39711, and if we do the calculation, our present value for this number 2 is 5,559.54 or 5,560. Okay, rounding it to the nearest dollar. So they're saying that today we've got 5,559.54. in the future, after 12 periods of compounding interest at 8%, we've got $14,000. Okay. Number 3, what is the present value of 25,000? We know our number of periods, which is 20 periods, interest at 12%, and our factor is going to be, if you look at the table, once again, 20 periods at 12% is 0.10367. My formula is going to look like this, 25,000 times 0.10367. So if I do the calculation, the present value of $25,000 today is $2,000, $591.75, or $2,592, rounding that amount to the nearest dollar. Okay. Hopefully this is looking okay for everybody. All right, the fourth one, they're asking what is the present value of 40,000? Once again, we know the number of periods, which is 8 periods. Our interest is at 10%. My factor, if you look at the table, table 2, 8 periods at 10%, my factor is 0.46651. My formula, my formula is going to look like this, 40,000 times 0.46651. I'm going to do the calculation of 40,000 times 0.46651. And my present value of that 40,000 here today is $18,660.40. Okay. So hopefully that was easy enough for you. Basically what we're doing is kind of doing the opposite from the future value. In my previous demo problem, we gave you this amount. We asked you to find that amount. Well, in this demonstration problem, they gave us the future value. They're asking for what the present value is. Okay, and there are tables for that. And make sure that you use the correct table depending on what they're asking. Okay, so that is exercise 6-3. Okay. All right, next is 6-5. Scroll down here. And this is also on page 349. Right, 6-5, we're looking at non-interest bearing note as a single payment. So it looks like it's only one payment, and we're dealing with present values again. So we're going to be using table 2 again because we're looking at one single payment, not multiple payments. Right, so the Field Detergent Company sold merchandise to the Able Company on June 30th, 2013. Payment was made in the form of a non-interest bearing note requiring Able to pay $85,000 on June 30th, 2015. Assume that a 10% interest rate properly reflects the time value of money in this situation. We're going to calculate the amount at which Field should record the note receivable and corresponding sales revenue on June 30th, 2013. Okay, so we know what they're going to be paying in the future. We need to find out what the amount they're going to have to record in their books today. Okay, so same scenario as what we've been doing. So we're saying what is the present value of 85,000? Okay, well, same scenario. We know our number of payments, which is going to be 2 because it's for 2 years. From June 30th, 2013 to June 30th, 2015, that's 2 years. Our interest is at 10%, which is stated in the problem. Okay, so if we look at our table 2 again, because we're only doing one single payment, table 2 is for calculating present values of a single payment. And our factor, if you look under 10% for 2 periods, my factor is going to be 0.82645. So my formula is going to look like this, 85,000 times 0.82645. If I do the calculation, I will be able to know what the company must record in their books today. Okay, looks like they must record $70,248.25. That's the present value of that $85,000 that they're paying 2 years from now. Okay. All right, so that's present value. Hopefully you have a better understanding of how to calculate present values based on a known amount in the future. Your homework problems and practice problems would be similar to what I've shown in this demonstration video, along with the other future value demonstration videos. You might have 1 or 2 other problems that will incorporate the same concepts, but will not look exactly like the homework that we did, but I've got faith that you will understand those concepts once you get to that problem. But this is what it is. Okay, so basically I'm going to post this under this video, the notes to this, and you can print it for your reference for when you're doing your homework, so it help you better understand the concepts.